terribly slow.
Yeah, 18 an hour. They say that Ripley is fixing to do that. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping that's true.
That's what Mom and Dad were on, and we swapped them over to the DirecTV. I forget what they call it, stream. You can watch it over the internet versus the satellite dish, and it's
We've got
What's that?
that C-box.
about $80 a month
Yeah,
versus satellites usually over $100.
yeah.
Ours is free. You just buy the box.
Huh.
I told Joe last night, I said, everything's such a mess. Nothing's simple anymore. Everything's so different all the time.
And there's not a lot you want to watch
I said,
anyway.
we don't watch much TV. He watches all the sports.
Certainly don't watch the news.
We don't watch the news, no.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably switch back to your iPad. Since
Okay.
This is way too complicated for me.
All right, I'll bring it next time.
Okay. I was hoping this would be simpler, but
Yeah, but it's ready to go today. Okay. Thank you, Brian. So I haven't seen her.
I think Shirley has had to work. I think she's kind of like
Daryl was out watching his truck, and both of their vehicles were there this morning.
she had to work last night. Oh, I think that's what she's
I haven't heard from Rhonda.
Joe was,
She wasn't here last week, was she?
Yes,
Was she?
was she? I think she was here last week, but not the two before.
Oh, okay. Okay.
no, I wasn't here last week. The last week was Easter, wasn't it?
Was it? It seems like it was.
Oh, yeah,
Easter was
that's
so
right.
long
I thought
ago.
it was Easter. I was in Henderson. I was in
Yeah.
Henderson.
Huh. I get confused. I keep thinking, oh, that's Saturday's Ladies' Day.
It is. You're right.
And Saturday is our only granddaughter's 24th birthday. Can't believe it's 24.
Well, Will is 25 today.
Is he? Aw. Happy birthday to Will. See, I didn't know he was as a oldest. Well, I guess I did. He was.
He's my mailman. Will's my mailman.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But Jessica's not on Will's on.
How old's Chris?
Chris is 22.
Okay.
Well, my oldest child just turned 50.
50? You don't look old enough to have 50 years.
Yep, she turned 50.
Well, my oldest child is 53.
Mine is 51. No, that's how I will.
My oldest child is 18.
You don't even belong.
Oh, and I'm going to go through that again.
Yeah, you do.
But my 51-year-old has gone from 49 down to 11. So, it's kind of, as they say, paper head riser.
Seth will be 28 in November.
That is, where does the time go?
It's going by. I have a brother. Forgive me if I don't remember his age. He was born. But his name is Seth.
Is it?
Yes. He's the youngest out of all 11 of us.
What?
I have, I come from.
You're like Steve.
Where do you fall in this? Fifth?
Yes, second girl, fifth child.
Well, maybe we can finish page 5. Since
Is the internet he's having trouble with here?
it's this computer. This is one that the church got for Larry Carden way back when.
Maybe they need to get you a new one.
I'm just going to come back with my iPad and start using it. I can't get YouTube on my iPad's too old, but I can do Facebook like we were doing. So he's just going to transfer it to YouTube.
But YouTube archives it, right?
Yes, and Facebook won't anymore.
I vote. My pages aren't numbered, I am. What's at the top of the? Where at the top of the?
We're
Here you are, here. This number right there. Halfway.
we're on number 24.
I got it. Yeah, the last. That's it.
He participated in the making the music every Friday.
I've been to that before.
Yes, she did it, and I was shocked. And she was on stage, and she was so nervous.
Yeah, mine.
There she's at. Right there, with that little piece on her head.
Well, I'm so proud of her.
And she was so nervous when she got finished.
If we know, we might have to go home.
Well, next time, I thought about it, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah, we went when David Snell's kids were.
It'll be 50 next year, so I let everybody know.
Yeah.
To keep everybody. But she did, and she was so nervous. She was saying, but she was like, I couldn't see them, like it was dark.
Yeah. We are still looking at lessons that you can learn from Revelation. Number 24 lesson is not a surprise to anybody, I don't think, that final judgment will be a bright day for some and a sad day for others. But what Revelation emphasizes is that the bright day comes from those who overcome. And that one concept is something that is emphasized throughout Revelation, and it's something that Christians need to focus on. It's the fact that you overcome Satan, sin, in your entire life. This act of overcoming is not a one-time thing. It goes on throughout the whole life. Turn to Revelation 14. And verse 13. Then I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, "Write, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their works, from their labors, and their works follow them." Those who die in the Lord, which emphasizes overcoming. it emphasizes the fact that you start your Christian life by obeying the gospel, but the overcoming doesn't stop there. It goes throughout the life. Then turn to Revelation 22, verse 14. It also says, "Blessed are those who do his commandments." That is the action of overcoming. It's doing his commandments. And that is not just one time, it's every time. And he says they will have the right to the tree of life and will enter through the gates into the city. So the bright day comes for those who overcome. It's sad for those who did obey the gospel even, but then fell away. And we read at the very beginning of Revelation about the 7 churches, that they were falling away, some of the congregations, and God told them what to do to fix it so that they would not completely fall away. Remember, he said, "I will come and take your lampstand away from you. I will come and take your name out of the book of life." So God says that overcoming continues throughout your life. Number 25 is an important one too. God's word must remain inviolable. That word means that it's secure from violation. It's unassailable. His word must remain pure. It must remain as God gave it. Turn to Revelation 22 again. And we're going to look at verses 18 and 19. I testify to everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. You hear God's word. If anyone adds to these things, God will add to him the plagues that are written in this book. If anyone takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life, from the holy city, from the things which are written in this book. God's word ends with a warning. Don't add to what I have given. Don't take away from what I have given. What are some things in our present day that you know of that have been added to God's Word.
Musical instrument?
Musical instrument. You know, it started out just with an organ or a piano. Now, it's everything. It's,
Women preachers.
and women preachers have been at it. All kinds of things.
Taking the Lord's Supper certain Sundays.
Taking the Lord's Supper or a certain, that's all, that's adding and taking away.
Yeah.
Because you're, and certain things that are considered acts of worship, like in some weddings, they will add the Lord's Supper as an act of worship in the wedding. Yeah, I've been to one. So things are added. Why has man seen the need to add those things? Why?
Because they were never asked for it.
Why do people want it? Why do people want the musical instruments?
But people are drawn to that. A lot of people are drawn to that.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment, and they like it. And
And I like
the kids get all up in that and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's totally away from what they're supposed to be taught and being taught. And to them, they've convinced themselves it's still worship. I know you see everywhere you go the community churches. I think they should add the word club on the end of it because that's what it is. Why is it so important to stay away from those things and keep it the way it was when it was established and when God put it in His Word?
It's important for going to heaven.
Yeah, because you won't go to heaven. He just said you had stuck to it. I'm going to take your name out of the book of life. It is so important that the Lord's church be very careful not to start following the way of the world.
And then one day I was talking to somebody about church and all, and they said, "You go to that big church up on the hill? That's a cult church." And it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It hurt my feelings. Then I couldn't talk to them anymore.
No.
Because they wasn't listening to what I had to say. But really, their church is like a cult church.
Yeah.
With all that instrument and stuff and jumping up and down and everything else. And teaching kids the wrong way.
Yeah, and I've wondered, because I didn't know this until I became a member and had been a member a while, that it was sometimes called a cult. Why? Where'd that come from?
Don't you think it's because, we follow the words of the Bible, our leader is God.
Yeah.
And that's what a cult is, they have a leader and they follow that, maybe?
And you don't, this is the right way.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. And of course, other religious groups say it doesn't matter where you go as long as you go. Now, I was raised Southern Baptist. Southern Baptists believe you better be a Southern Baptist. That's changed. It's not said like that anymore. But I think it's significant that God ends His word by saying, don't you add to this, don't you take away from this. This is the way I have said it. This is the way it's to be. And that we are to guard that. And of course, there are so many different translations that have things you have to be very careful, because some of them are not translations, they're interpretations. And there's a big difference in that. But God set His word to be unassailable. In other words, God said, I'm not changing it. This is it. You don't change it. From generation to generation. And that's a catch term sometimes. Well, you know, our culture has changed. It's an excuse.
Yeah, it is.
God says from generation to generation. His word doesn't change. And if you stop and think about it, that's one of the most comforting things that you could hold up to. God's not going to change. What He wants of us is not going to change. It's not going to change for our children or our grandchildren. So we can teach them, help them to learn, and it's going to be that way.
And He loves us when nobody else appears to love us. God still loves us.
Yet God still loves us. And He still wants everybody to follow. And don't you know God's thinking, I've made it as simple as I can. Because He doesn't require anybody to bring a huge amount of money or anything. He requires obedience. He says, I'd rather have obedience than silver or gold or sacrifice. And that's all He asks.
And He made it simple enough so that all of us can understand.
Oh, yeah. And those who mentally cannot understand it are saved. It's children until they can understand. Robert Taylor ended his list by saying the book of Revelation is worthy of serious study. And a lot of people stay away from it because it is, they see it as a very difficult book to understand because of the figurative language, the symbolism, and all of that it is. But once you get into it and realize what's going on, it becomes a very comforting book. Our next section in the appendix has to do with words and word patterns. And this is one of the things that makes it kind of difficult for people to understand if they're not aware of the word patterns in Revelation. In your English classes in school, you had to learn things about words. You had to learn verb tenses, present, past, future, present, past, past. You can get really complicated in all of those. What is the one thing about verb tense, which tells the time, present, past, future, that we learned you have to watch out for in Revelation and in the prophets' books? There is a tense that you probably do not study in English class called the prophetic tense. And that is the tense of the verb that speaks of something as though it's already happened, which is to be sometime in the future. And it's spoken of as though it's already happened. And in God's Word, that prophetic tense is used obviously by prophets because they're prophesying things that will happen in the future. And they're saying it as though it has already happened or as though it's happening right then. And part of the reason is not only is it a prophecy, but they're showing that it's so certain that it will happen that you can say it already has. You can look at it as something that already has happened. So that prophetic tense can throw people off unless you realize what it is. Okay.
Thanks, Lynn.
We're on page 6.
Next one will be the 19th.
Yeah.
So pretty girl.
I meant to ask, what time